Hello, my beautiful and handsome bakers and fellow Swifties. Today we have a delightful recipe. We're going to be trying out Miss Taylor Swift herself's delicious, well, I don't know if they're delicious yet, so we'll try it. Her chai sugar cookies. And she posted this online not too long ago. I feel like it was like a couple years ago, but I'm just now getting a chance to try her sugar cookies. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bake these together. So we'll see how they come out. So the first thing we're gonna go ahead and do is we are going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And we are going to get some butter. So 1/2 a cup of butter and 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. I also have 2 baking sheets I'm going to prepare as well. I usually use like the silicone mats and then I just line it with parchment paper. So we don't want to forget that. And then after I align these with the parchment paper, I'm just gonna go ahead and set these aside because we're not gonna need to use these until later. We're gonna go ahead and combine our, actually, you know what? We're not gonna combine. Put the butter. This is softened butter. Either you can leave it out or you can put it in the microwave like I did for a few minutes. Actually, not a few minutes. Let me go ahead and shake that off. No pun intended. Okay, and then we're gonna put a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Vegetable oil. I can't even talk today, you all. I'm just so excited about this recipe. Or this recipe by Taylor Swift was the fact that I did a Hollywood tour, you all, this past weekend, and we passed by Miss Taylor Swift's like beautiful, like secure property in Beverly Hills. And this was like I've been living in California my whole life, but this was my first time ever doing a celebrity tour, and it was really fun. So we're just gonna go ahead and beat the vegetable oil and butter by the least. All right, so it looks like our butter and our vegetable oil is all mixed together. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, crack an egg in here. Make sure you don't get any shells in your cookies. And we're gonna go ahead and put vanilla extract, and it's 2 teaspoons, sorry. And 2 teaspoons. Okay. And then we're gonna mix all that together. Right, so we're all finished mixing those ingredients together, and you can find this recipe online, or I will be posting on my Patreon page. And if you haven't already subscribed to my Patreon, go ahead and do so. I'll leave the link in the description box below. There's only 1 tier, which, well, actually there's 2 tiers. There's a free tier, which I post a lot of my recipes, the text version, and also I attach the YouTube channel or the YouTube video to the text version. But then I also as well put in, you know, exclusive recipes on my Patreon, which is the $5 tier. So only free or $5, and it's free to subscribe as well. Okay, so getting to the next step. The next step is our dry ingredients, which is 2 cups of flour. And then I'm gonna also teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm gonna actually put the 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda in my my flour. I always like to do it that way. It doesn't necessarily say to do so, but I'll go ahead and do that. It calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that around here. Also, this recipe calls for chai tea, and I had a vanilla chai packet, pretty ground. And I'm gonna take the tea bag and I'm just gonna cut the top of the tea bag so I can put it in my little bowl. Okay, so this is what the chai tea grounds look like when I put it in my little bowl. Okay, so I think I'm gonna mix this in my dry ingredients as well. Okay. And so here you go. Just taking it and just kind of, you know, mixing it together. All right, so I'm gonna add in my dry ingredients gradually and mix it in. Although I haven't tasted it yet, I mean, it looks delicious, right? It smells delicious, and it's definitely unlike any recipe that I've tried before or I've baked before, especially with the tea in here. So I'm just kind of like mixing it around because I feel like not all my butter was like incorporated into this. Okay. The dough is very soft. So a part of the recipe calls for us to refrigerate the dough for an hour. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I can see why, because it is very, very soft. So our cookie dough is now finished chilling out of the refrigerator. I'm gonna take my cookie scoop and I'm going to scoop them on to our prepared baking sheet. Okay, y'all, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna press them evenly and then cover with sugar. I just have a little square of parchment paper that I folded, and I'm just gonna press it down. And sometimes you know, when I make cookies, I don't normally press them down, but because sometimes, you know, they melt when they're in the oven, so I don't know how much they spread. But this is Taylor's recipe, so I'm gonna follow it to the T. Okay, and then I'm going to cover them in sugar. Okay, and then once we're finished covering these in sugar and pressing them down for about 9 minutes or so. So I always set a timer just in case. I don't like over baking cookies. So I'm gonna set it at 9 minutes and then I'm gonna check it and see if it's ready or if they are ready to come out. It's oven. Okay, so in the meantime, we can start making the glaze. Now, this glaze is optional. It depends on, you know, if you want, like some of them you can put glaze on, taste them. I don't know, I haven't tried this recipe before, but I'm gonna make the glaze, okay? And I'll show you guys how to make the glaze in just a second. Okay, so I'm gonna make the glaze. I have about a ½ cup of powdered sugar here. It doesn't specify the measurement, so I'm just gonna, you know, start off with a ½ cup. I don't think we need more than that at this point in time. I'm going to add in a little bit of vanilla extract. And I don't know, I just always use vanilla extract for all of my stuff. It actually doesn't ask for it, but I always use it. And a pinch of nutmeg, okay? So I'm gonna have a pinch of nutmeg in there. So I'm going to, and this is regular milk. You can use any liquid of choice. I just used regular milk. Okay, and I'm just gonna start off by just adding like a spoonful of liquid. because you know, you don't want it to be too runny, but then you don't want it to be too stiff. So I like, it's not very much here. You don't need like tons of it either. I'm only gonna put this on half. So I'm only gonna use a little bit on like 12 cookies, and then I'm gonna leave the other half just with the sugar only. 10 minutes. I probably could have left them in for maybe about like a minute or two more. So I hope they're, you know, they're set. I feel like I have to let them set out for a little bit. But anyways, they look really delicious and they smell good. I know they're still warm, but I just like want to taste one. So I'm gonna taste one that's not frosted. And this is how it looks. Yum. These are good. So if you like to try out Taylor's recipe, please go ahead and go to my Patreon page, or you can search for this recipe online, or like I said, I might leave it in the description if they allow me to. But I would recommend, definitely. Until next time, lovelies.